as we can. Feel free to ask any question you like. Let's not so much requests. Don't constantly ask him for line readings or stuff like that. And please don't whip out your phone and say, "Oh, could you recite this whole speech from episode 5527 my friend?" And it's negotiable. And as always, of course, just have fun. Ladies and gentlemen, Valley Supercon is proud to present this fantastically talented, amazing gentleman. I've sat with him before. You are in for a treat. The voice of Batman and so many other characters, Mr. Kevin Conroy.
Thank you. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Now we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Good. Welcome to Conroy. Thanks for joining us. Good. So, just what I wanted to ask, how did the role of Batman evolve for you? When did this story all begin?
Yeah, maybe.
Which still is
some of you have probably heard this story before. It was an audition. It was a cold audition. I had never done an animated character. It was the first animated character I ever auditioned for. Isn't that amazing? That just doesn't happen. It's just fluky. And I did a lot of theater in New York. I think most of you know I'm a New York actor. I went to Juilliard, and I did a lot of off-Broadway and Broadway. And I was in LA. Oh, but theater actors, in order to supplement their income, you learn pretty quickly that you can't really make a living in the theater. It's a lot of love, it's a lot of joy, but not a lot of money. So what a lot of them do is commercial work on the side, because Madison Avenue's in New York. And so the commercial voiceover world is based there. And I started doing commercial voiceovers to supplement my theater income. So I was in LA doing a pilot for a series, and my voiceover agent said, they're putting together this new show over at Warner Brothers. Why don't you go over and give it a shot? It's Batman. I said, new show? Batman's been around forever. He said, no, it's never been an animated show. I was so naive to the whole Batman universe. I didn't know it had never been an animated show. So I went in and it was just an actor in an audition doing a cold read and just using my imagination in the booth. I walked in, I met Bruce Timm and Andrea Romano and Eric Radomski, all the original people creating the show. And I didn't even know who I was meeting. I didn't know how talented these people were. And Bruce Timm said, the first thing he said to me was, what's your background on Batman? What do you know about Batman? I said, well, I know the Adam West show from the 60s when I was a kid. He went, no. We love Adam, but that's not what we're doing. He said, don't you know about The Dark Knight and the Legacy? And I said, no, I don't know anything. He said, so he brought me up to speed. He said, no, this is very noir. It's New York in the 30s. It's dark, it's gritty. His parents are murdered in front of him on the street. He lives to avenge their deaths. He lives in the caves. He's a dual identity. He's a tortured character. I said, boy, you're describing Hamlet. You're describing an epic Shakespearean tragic character. He said, well, give it a shot, see what you do. So I went in the booth and I just put myself in the situation, and using my imagination, I just put myself into the darkest, the deepest kind of pain that I could think of. And this voice started coming out. And they essentially hired me on the spot. And they'd seen over 500 people. But I think, and they've been looking for months, but I think the reason I got it was because of my naivety, because I had no preconceptions. I was really free to just improvise in that situation and let my imagination run wild. I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I wasn't trying to fulfill any preconceptions. I was really just an actor in an audition, using my imagination. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen a lot. To be in that kind of a pure situation. It doesn't happen a lot. So I was very, 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 very fortunate that this all happened 27 years ago, when that kind of thing could still happen. So that's how it happened.
Works for me. All right, I'm gonna set our microphone up here, and if y'all want to sit, just line up in an orderly fashion, please.
Hi.
Hey, can you tell the story of how you found out you were going to meet Mark Hamill? Like, what, did you geek out when you found out you were going to meet Luke Skywalker?
Well, there was a complicated story, actually. I don't know if any of you know that the original Joker was Tim Curry from Rocky Horror. And I thought he was great. He was great. But I got a call saying there's going to be a change. Mark Hamill's going to do it. And I thought, Mark Hamill? Luke Skywalker? You know, goody two-shoe Luke Skywalker? Just didn't seem to make sense to me. And then he came in and he read with me, and I thought, wow. He was all kinds of crazy. It was just all kinds of crazy. But you know, to be fair to Tim was great. I was surprised when they were going to replace him. He was great as the Joker. I felt that Tim Curry was crazy, scary. Like, lock up the children, don't let them see him. You know, like really disturbing. Mark was crazy, funny, crazy, exciting. To be in the booth with him, I wish you could see him in the booth. You know how Jim Carrey has that rubber face where he just like, he distorts? Well, Mark does that in the booth. His face becomes the Joker. He like inhabits the character. Ew, Batty, you know? And it's just like, he's just, this whole thing comes over him, and he's like, ah. And if you're in there long enough with him, you're covered with spit. Because he's like, you know, and what's wonderful is he's such a generous actor. It's wonderful to be, you know, actors are people. There are selfish ones, there are generous ones, there are mean ones, there are kind ones. There are ones you really want to work with, and the ones you just pray to God you don't have to work with. You know what I mean? They're people. And Mark is a generous, giving, fabulous person to work with. I see when he's watching me, I watch him watching me like this. He's watching me like a kid. And I know it's because he's getting such joy out of, the better I am, the more excited he gets. Because he knows he's going to have more to work with. That's what acting is. It's really like playing ball when you were a kid. Or a volley in tennis. You really want to get a good volley going with the other player. The better the other player is, the better you'll be. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is with acting. If you're with a generous actor, they want you to be good. They're not going to be competitive with you because they know the better you are, the better they're going to be. And Andrea Romano, you know, who did most of the casting for all the Warner Brothers stuff, she brought all these different actors together. And she started out training as an actor. She studied acting in New York when she was in college. And then she got off into the production end of things. But she understands how actors think. She understands what the chemistry is. And so she always tries to cast people that she knows will play well together. You know, it's not just being the right voice or being a good actor. She wants to know that you're going to be someone that people want to work with. So she tends to get very generous people together. So that's a good question.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. How you doing?
Good. That's not my question.
Okay.
You're good.
Next, yes.
Question I have comes from a conversation I had with someone earlier. Is if they made a Batman Beyond film, would you consider playing Bruce Wayne?
You kidding? I would love to, but I'm a little young. I mean, he's in his 80s. You know, I have a few years to go. But I can do old cranky Bruce Wayne.
Thank you so much.
Terry! Terry! Get in here! I want my tea.
Every time they ask
Somebody.
Hey, how's it going? I was wondering if, after playing the character for so many years, who your favorite iteration of all the villains is? Which villain do you like the most, and who portrayed that particular character?
That's a good question. He asked who's my favorite of all the villains. The villains, let's face it, the villains really make the Batman universe. Don't they? I mean, they're incredible. That's what I thought was so brilliant about the Arkham games. The first time I got the first Arkham Asylum script, I thought this is genius, because Batman doesn't kill. He never kills anyone. He always puts them in Arkham. So there's this asylum in Gotham that has every crazy villain of the Batman universe sitting in there just waiting to be used, you know what I mean? So they had this great idea of Batman gets trapped in there and has to find his way out, and he encounters everyone, all of them. But I think they're all so interesting. They're all so complicated. I have a special relationship with Joker because of Mark and my chemistry. I have a theory that, like yin and yang, I don't think Batman would fully be Batman without Joker. And I don't think Joker would fully be Joker without Batman. I think in a way we kind of define each other. Our darkness and our light. We create a whole in terms of the scripts. We really define each other, which is why I thought Killing Joke was such a really interesting